Good evening, and thank you for stepping into the Foul Playland. As always, I'm your Foul Player. Wanted to report some news regarding DeAndre Baker, cornerback out of Georgia University, who's currently with the New York Giants. Reportedly, he was. They put a warrant out for his arrest. He's being accused of an armed robbery or assault with a deadly weapon, and a robbery, same thing, in connection with something that happened in Miramar, Florida. Now, I'm not saying that the incident that is reportedly taking place is 100% true. I mean, it's all alleged right now, but as far as him and Quentin Dunbar being accused of it, this is 100% like trying to say it without saying it. What I basically want to say is that I have a source in Miramar, about as 100% legit as you get, and this call was made immediately after the fact of it supposedly transpiring. This is in a really nice area, not no ghetto place you could even stroll into like that. Seemingly it sounds like it's like a gated community. Having said that, and even before I said that, I thought that pick wasn't a good pick when it was made last year. I mean, I thought there were better cornerbacks still left on the board. I thought there were two better cornerbacks left on the board at that point. But when I made a mention of this to Giant fans, everybody wants to jump down my throat and act like I don't know what I'm talking about. And this is just on his play. They were putting him out there last year as the second cornerback, or at times the number one cornerback. And I said that he wasn't a number one cornerback. He's a slot cornerback. He's only built for man to play in the man. I mean, his size was good, and a lot of people think that just because you're over 6'1", that automatically you could slot into a number one cornerback position. Especially, I mean, I'm sorry to say, Giant fans. I mean, Giant fans are overly radicalized, overly sensitive. Like, when you critique a lot of what's happening in New York Giant land, and then as you look closer to these things that I've been saying, I'm not saying that I predicted that DeAndre Baker was going to be a total bum, but I mean, things are busting at the seams with this team, and a lot of people think that, just because Joe Judge is the coach now, you know nothing of Joe Judge. I don't know nothing about Joe Judge. Most other teams don't know stuff about Joe Judge. He's a special teams coach and / wide receivers coach. I mean, a lot of people are making it seem that we have an edge with our coach. Our coach might be better than one coach in the whole league, and that might be just the Jets coach, and Adam Gase. And that's because Adam Gase is a terrible coach. We don't know anything about Joe Judge right now. But even before that, DeAndre Baker, there were reports coming out this summer that he was falling asleep during the team meetings. And this wasn't a one-time deal. I mean, and he was warned of it, and it's seemingly it happened again. I mean, I don't want to go over the top and say we got to cut the guy, but if they do, I mean, who's gonna cry? I mean, his play sucks. I mean, they say his play got better at the end of the year. Really didn't. I mean, we played bummier teams towards the end of the year. The wins that we got, we should have gotten. I mean, the only bright spot the Giants have right now, which I didn't think was going to be a bright spot, is the play of Daniel Jones last year. I mean, who knows what happens in his sophomore season. But, it's time that we stop thinking that the Giants are like the Yankees or something. And besides that, I hate the Yankees. With this whole giant way thing, and I get it. We do have a level of success, but I mean, it's not lately. I mean, it hasn't been happening for a while. It seems like this team's been doing a lot of dumb things. We're not fixing areas that should be fixed or should be addressed. And our fan base isn't to blame for it in a sense, but since I started making YouTube videos, God forbid I say anything regarding any move the Giants make, and it's like I killed a baby or something. I mean, I made a video that I didn't like Darnay Holmes just based on his play. Darnay Holmes, and I've watched more video of Darnay Holmes, the 4th round pick out of UCLA, and I don't see much different. I see a guy getting burnt all the time. He reminds me of DeAndre Baker's play in the NFL. And he's doing this in the rough terrain of UCLA. Imagine when he gets to Meadowlands, which MetLife, which I'm actually by as we speak. If you could see to my left, here you can make it out. Whatever. But there's I'm just a simple content creator at the end of the day. I mean, do I know everything I'm talking about? Of course not. Football is not even like my number one forte, I think. I mean, but as far as prospects go, I mean, I didn't think DeAndre Baker was a bum, but I thought they could have went a different way than the pick that they did at the DeAndre Baker pick, and they traded up to do so. DeAndre Baker wasn't the guy that, and last year, I mean, they had more chances to look at his character than they would with a draft pick this year, like with the coronavirus and whatnot. But I mean, if you move up to get a guy, you would think that you would try to cover all the bases and do your due diligence, or let a guy feel like, you can't fall asleep during a team meeting as a rookie. And I mean, is that a fault on the player? Possibly. But if it is on the player that he feels that comfortable to fall asleep in a team meeting, you could do your homework on the guy and find out if that's the kind of guy he is before he gets here. But it could also be a fault of the franchise in making it seem that that's acceptable. And that's not just the coaches. That's the coaches and the players that have been there for over a year or two. They give you the perception as a player that what's could be tolerated and what's not acceptable. I mean, maybe the Giants' hierarchy, including the vets, gave this kid the bad perception of what the team would tolerate. And that's what we get, and this is what we get. I mean, you got a second-year player, or not even into his second year yet, pulling an armed robbery with, or seemingly, allegedly, with another player. I mean, but the Giants, are bulletproof in some fans' eyes, and they can't, you can't. Everything is glass three-quarters of the way full. And I make Giants and Jets content when it comes to football mostly. I like both teams. I love both teams. The Giants won the Super Bowl, my son was obsessed with football for 4 years already, and the Giants won the Super Bowl in 2011, we both cried. My wife cried too. I mean, when the team won in 2007, my best friend just came home from jail that year before, and he was even bigger Giant fan than me. I mean, it was almost a tearjerker moment too. One of the best days of my life when they won the Super Bowl. So, I mean, and if the Jets won the Super Bowl, I'd probably feel more elated because the Jets stink for many more years than the Giants have. But don't think that because I don't make solely Giants content that I can't have an opinion on what the Giants are doing wrong. And a lot of people are saying cut the guy. I mean, I would probably cut him at this stage too. I mean, but it doesn't take an instance like this to start looking into a player. And I mean, when they had the reports of him falling asleep at the team meetings, I mean, it was underreported, I felt. But let me know what you guys think. DeAndre Baker's a buster, and he just might be a bust. And seemingly, he's a bust as a human being. No room for that. All right, let me know what you guys think. And with that, I'm out. Thank you for stepping into the Foul Play Land.